I've always been passionate about detail, and then of recent they've been talking about visual literacy. And so oftentimes I've thought about it in terms of what I do and the images that I make. And it does apply, but as I'm working, none of that comes to mind. What I'm doing with my work is I'm talking about and speaking to those things that interest me. Detail interests me. The sense of discovery interests me. And it might be the working with a narrative. I began to understand the fact that leaving the illustrations also open enough for the reader to take some ownership in my images. Again, a lot of that might have to do with the sense of the page turn. But the idea of bookmaking and the narrative all, I think, comes to play, but almost in an intuitive way. It's all organic. It's always trying to please that part of myself that wants to tell a story and tell it visually. So how readers respond and react to the work, I'm not sure. That doesn't really enter in at the time. It's the hope. And but I always fall back on, what do I want to say? What story do I want to tell? And how do I want to tell it? And who is my audience? Because I know also with working with children, work for children, that they're more open, more curious, more excited about finding things. And that does come into play, sure, but it's about what I find in my work. What do I hide? Well, usually I hide things that are there in real life. I love the idea of when you see insects moving in and out of the foliage in my work. But I can go right back to standing in a field in North Carolina and peering down, and it seemed as if the ground was moving because the insect life was so active. It felt that way. And what I do in my work is I go back to those experiences. And I'm telling you about it, but I'm telling you about it through my pictures.